Hello from the Richland Hills Public Library. This is Miranda. I'm the youth librarian. Today I am going to show you how to make these really cool spinning tops. Super easy, very few ingredients required, and we're going to try to test it out first. We've done a little bit of testing already, and we've discovered that the surface that you're spinning on can make a difference. So as you can see, well, you can't really see the table, but it's got this kind of rough surface to it. And oh, look, see, now it works. Before, we were having a lot of trouble with the rough surface. The top did not want to spin on it at all, like that. But what we discovered is that if we put the piece of paper down, we had a little bit of better luck getting the top to spin just like that. It takes a little bit of work. And it may not work every time, but it's good to experiment with your different surfaces and see which surface works best for you. Now, the reason that I have two that have already been made is because it does take a pretty long time. So we're not going to be able to make a complete one here for this video. But you can see what they look like finished, just like that. And they are super, super easy to make. All you need is a toothpick, some paper, some glue, and then if you want something to decorate with afterwards. So like this one, for example, this is just regular white computer paper, and then I painted it gold, and I added some glitter nail polish. And then this one is a whole bunch of different colors of paper. I don't know if you can see in there. I've got blue and green and purple kind of all wrapped around each other, and in fact, if we turn it over this way, it's even more obvious. And so you can do different colors and different designs and patterns. And then of course I like glitter, so I put nail polish on this one too. You can also just use glitter and then paint glue and then roll it in the glitter, or however you want to do it. But the nail polish was easier for me. So to make these, like I said, it is super, super easy. It's just a little messy, and that's okay. So you'll need your glue. What I like to do is get a paintbrush and then mix the glue with some water, just a little bit, not a lot, so you get more of a Mod Podge consistency to it, and that makes it a little bit easier to work with when you're getting started. What I discovered on these other tops is that you need about 30 strips of paper, give or take. They don't have to be perfect, although they can be if you want to. You can get out a ruler and measure it all out and draw your lines, but you really don't have to. It's not super important to the balance of the top. So then you just kind of eyeball it, and they need to be from 1 inch to ½ an inch wide. I guess you could experiment with smaller than that or thicker than that, but that's entirely up to you. I'm only going to cut the one strip, but you should be able to get 10 strips out of a typical 8x10 piece of paper. So then we pick out a toothpick. And what I like to do to get started is kind of go ahead and paint just a little bit of glue onto the toothpick itself. And that just gives a place for the paper to immediately start sticking to. Then you're going to put your piece of paper right at the end of the toothpick. Make sure that it's not in the center. Make sure that one end is shorter and the other end is longer. And then you're just going to start rolling. Just like that. And then I tend to hold on to it and kind of eyeball and make sure, because you don't want your piece of paper, and this will happen and you'll have to readjust as you go over and over again. But you don't want your piece of paper to go veering off this way or veering off this way. You want it to be pretty much as even as you possibly can. You don't have to keep putting glue on it. The point is to get it as tight as possible. And you can see that mine is already starting to veer a little bit, and a little bit is okay. You just don't want it going crazy. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit faster than I would normally if I were making one of my other ones. Whoops. But you'll notice that when I start to go faster, it does start to mess up easier. So the slower you go, the better off you are. Let's see, almost there. And again, you can do some readjusting as you go. In the long run, the glue is going to help everything stay together. All right, and then when you get pretty close to the end of your strip, then you just take a little bit of glue, paint it onto the end, and then finish it off. And this is where it gets nice and messy. All right, so this is gonna be kind of messy, and as you see, it's gonna slide up and down, but you wanna wait until that glue is completely, well, I won't say completely dry enough before you start on your next strip. And then what I usually do is grab a little bit more glue, and then I paint the whole thing in glue. All the way, ooh, it's really loose. It might be a good idea if yours is that loose. I'm not going to do anything about it for this one, but if yours is that loose, you might want to go ahead and put some glue on some extra glue on your toothpick. And hopefully it'll stay in place a little bit better. So, but you paint the whole thing in glue, and then pick a spot that is not right on the crease from the last spot. It doesn't have to be too different, but you just don't want it right there. So I'm going to start right here. And then you just, ooh, that's really crooked. We don't want it that crooked. All right, and then you just roll again. And you could put more glue along the way if you wanted to, but you don't really have to. That's not necessary to make all of this work. And as you can see, I'm getting really off here, but it's not too bad because you can still see both ends. And then you get to the end again, paint some more, roll it up, wait for it to dry, and then you just keep adding strips over and over and over again. Like I said, both of these, well, this one had 30 strips of cardstock paper. This one had 27 strips of computer paper. So that's why it's a little bit smaller, plus 3 less strips. But that's approximately the number that you'll want for your top. I would say just kind of eyeball it until it looks like it's a good size, but you don't want it too small or too big. But it might be fun to experiment with that a little bit and see what difference it makes in how the top spins. All right, so that's how that works. Y'all are good to go, I think. If you have any questions or comments about your own, or if you want to make your own little videos and post them in the comments, that would be fantastic. Please feel free to do so. So thank you for coming to our video today. I hope you have fun making your spinning tops.